no speed to accept you. In this episode of Rocket League Question Time, the question is, does nothing exist? So what made me think of this is when you have light and you have darkness. Is the darkness itself a thing? Does it exist? Or is it just an absence of light? Because light is made up of like radiation, electromagnetic radiation that can be measured, and the darkness, the bit between the lights, like the space between stars, doesn't have anything to measure. So in a way it doesn't exist. So the thought is, does the nothing itself exist? Well, just because you're talking about it and you can notice it but not measure it, doesn't it sort of exist in a way? Because there's nothing there to talk about. And it's interesting because some people think that darkness has to exist for there to be light. And you could say that light is just the absence of darkness, and that there's a that sort of train of thought can be related to like good and evil. Like evil is the absence of good and good is the absence of evil, and they sort of intertwined it with each other like yin and yang, and they it's duality. And I think personally that the nothing doesn't exist. That because it is nothing, it isn't part of existence. But then, is nothing? Can you ever have pure nothing? Because space is like a void, and it has the possibility for something to take up its space. So in a way, it is something because it's got space for things to exist in. But say space is something, what about outside the edge of the universe? Maybe that's nothing. But then because I'm talking about it, it may be something. So in a way, the nothing does exist when you talk about it. But then, by that logic, everything is part of existence, or has the possibility to be part of existence, because you can talk about it, and then it becomes something maybe. But if it truly is nothing, then it's not there for you to talk about. And does nothing exist? Well, maybe nothing is a weird thing that it doesn't actually make any sense for nothing to be a thing, because it isn't a thing. So to call it nothing goes against what nothing is. So what is nothing? It's potentially the absence of existence. So in that way, nothing, but that absence of existence does exist. That definition, in a way, but it doesn't resolve the issue of whether nothing exists or not. Let's think of the possibility. If nothing exists, well, you could say that like as a phrase, like if nothing exists, like everything exists. No, that means like nothing exists, but the nothing itself, does that exist is the question. Not whether if everything doesn't exist, if the nothing itself exists. So I'm gonna try and score and see where that takes me. So does nothing exist? Well, I'm inclined to think that it is possible for things not to exist. But are they truly nothing if you talk about anything that doesn't exist? Well, that's a good goal that I haven't contributed towards. Yeah, so it's a difficult one, really. So does nothing exist? Does it exist in itself? Does it have an existence? What is nothing? I think space is quite close to nothing because there's no particles, there's there's no light there. But does that space exist? Well, yeah, because you're talking about it and it is a thing. So what is a purer form of nothing than space? Well, you can have the outside of space. That, in terms of the physical world, um, or silence, the absence of sound, in a way, is more nothing than space because it doesn't. It's like a sort of abstract concept. It's the absence of sound rather than it being some like something that it could occupy, like space. So let's reach a conclusion. Um, does so? What is nothing? Nothing is the absence of existence, and for it truly to be nothing, it must be beyond words and beyond comprehension. So the nothing itself has to not be able to be called nothing, and that doesn't exist. But if that exists, then it should exist. If that doesn't exist, then it should exist. Yes. Thank you for watching. I love you. Ciao. Bye now.